what structuralism is and what its different theories have to offer and allow us to see society from different lenses in a macro sociological way. From today, I'm going to discuss two sociological perspectives which are conflict perspectives, and these perspectives are Marxism and feminism. Today, I'm going to talk about Marxism. Marxism is very important and crucial not only to sociology but also to economics and political science. In the history of humankind, we can see Marxism as one of the most potent revolutions or the movements that humankind have experienced till date. Hi students, this is Muhammad Ali, your sociology instructor. In the previous classes, we studied about the sociological perspectives, social institutions, society, culture, and their mutual relationship. In the very recent lecture that I did, it was about functionalism, a sub-theory or an approach to structuralism. Structuralism is the grand narrative of sociology, and the other one is interactionism. But for now, we are doing only structuralism, and we are understanding what structuralism is and what its different theories have to offer and allow us to see society from different lenses in a macro sociological way. So, sociology is a subject where perspectives are very much important, and functionalists give us a perspective where we can see how the society works, how it is functional, how its different organs collectively work to make the spindle of society going on, to keep it going, to keep it thriving. It's a consensus perspective where most of the individuals and the society as a whole agree. Whereas from today, I'm going to discuss two sociological perspectives which are conflict perspectives, and these perspectives are Marxism and feminism. Today, I'm going to talk about Marxism. Marxism is very important and crucial not only to sociology but also to economics and political science. Marxism is for most people, it's not only an ideology, rather a belief. This is in the history of humankind, we can see Marxism as one of the most potent revolutions or the movements that humankind have experienced till date. Marxism is a people-led revolution. Marxism is a movement which is about a common man. Marxism is a theory, an ideology or philosophy which was given by the father of communism, Karl Marx. Karl Marx was a socialist, a communist who believed that the social, economic and political institutions and the stakeholders in these institutions must have equal standing when it comes to distribution of resources, political decision making, or their social roles or norms that they are experiencing in the society. Karl Marx has only been the sociologist who have not only been very much potent for sociologists, rather he has a greater contribution for economics because he gave us an economic system, a system where resources are distributed in a rather egalitarian way than a price mechanism way. It's a system that allows the individuals, every faction of society to be included. It's a more inclusive concept where there is no class system, there is no social stratification, where the social experience of individuals do not change or do not, I would say, vary based on their economic haves, their living standards. Every person, every individual is treated equally. Every individual is treated and given all the rights and all the opportunities in a very equal way. And in philosophy, we call it egalitarianism. But today I'm only going to focus on Marxism as a theory. It's a very long discussion about Marxism, and you can study on Britannica and different encyclopedias. This knowledge never ends, right? So I'm going to limit my lecture today only to the theoretical connections of Marxism to our subject sociology, and I'll try to restrict it to only to A-level sociology, right? So let's begin with the end in mind. So guys, as I have already give you a heads up, a prologue of Marxism, what it is all about. It's a very gigantic idea, and let's try to make it smaller, understandable in the context of sociology. So Marxism basically is a conflict perspective that argues that society is a concept of class differences. This technically means that society itself functions in a way, it is structurally designed in a way that actually creates class conflicts, that creates a difference between people's living experiences based on their economic differences, right? And Marxism is basically an antithesis of capitalism. So capitalism, what actually capitalism does, according to Marxists, according to socialists, but I will rather say Marxists, what capitalism does to the society is it creates social stratifications. So, and what are social stratifications? The social groups based on same economic experiences, where the rich rest at the top. Now, this must be noted here that it is a system, according to Marxists, the system that we are looking in, the culture, the society, the social rules, family, institutions, education, media, religion, globalization, everything is rather controlled by rich class, the opulent minority. As in, if you look at the Constitution of America, which was made by James Madison, it was and it's not a coincidence that the father of economics, Adam Smith, was writing his book, Welfare of the Nations, the greatest work of I would say, the greatest work ever done for capitalism or in support of capitalism, right? That's why we call Adam Smith the father of capitalism. And this was actually the time, and right after 3 years, Constitution of America was written by James Madison. And I'll not go in details of the Constitution of America, but there is a very important phrase I would like to share with you guys about here, who actually I would say sounds or resonates with the idea of Marxism. It says that protect the opulent minority against the majority. So the opulent minority here that we are talking about is the rich class, the powerful, the bourgeoisie, the ones who owns the resources, the rich people, right? Those are the ones who actually have hijacked the system. Those are the ones who actually create culture. Those are the people, those minorities, those opulent ones who actually shape the very structure of the society. These are the ones who actually tells in different ways, using social institutions, how the individuals have to think, how the individuals must act to be a part of a certain society or culture. It is engraved in a very decent and in a very passive way, which we call in sociology ideological state apparatus, right? Through social institutions, through a soft approach, using soft power and soft control, through religion, through media, through powerful institutions that actually affect the individuals, those institutions which are actually go to individuals, right? So capitalism is a concept where the survival of the fittest is very much important, where the rich are the ones who are going to be richer and the poor are the ones who will remain poor, or based on exploitation of the rich will become poorer. As an antithesis of capitalism, Marxism suggests a classless society. It argues, it claims that there has to be a society where there is no social stratification, where people must not be treated in a way that must be based on the economic haves, the economic standards, right? So Marxism believes in a classless society, right? And it's a critique of capitalism that I have already told you. The capitalists are the ones who actually use infrastructure and superstructures to maintain their control over the poor class. Now, just hold for a second here. I'm going to tell you about infrastructures and superstructures in a very short bit, but before that I need you to really realize and understand what actually is capitalism. When I spell the word capitalism, what is being articulated in your mind, or what must you understand? It has to be symbolically understood in an equal way. So capitalism is a social system that operates through economic activity. So a socio-economic system, a system where it is the rich, it is the owners of the resources who will take decisions for the rest of the society. It is actually the rich people, the opulent minority, right? The minority of the rich who will control the rest of the resources, right? Where the means of production belong to the rich class, and goods and services are allocated through market mechanism. Now, I have used this term very carefully. Market mechanism is because it is actually the Smithian, the Adam Smith's economics, in which actually supports a market system, a market mechanism, where the forces of demand and supply are going to control the market. These forces of demand and supply will be managed through prices, and the prices are going to be decided by whom? The market itself. It's not the government, it's a laissez-faire economy. It's an economy where there is no government intervention. Rather, it's the producers who are going to take decisions about the resources. They are the ones who are going to take decisions about what to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce. And they are the ones who are going to set the prices as well, right? So it is actually the owners of the resources who will not only own their resources, rather they will own the whole society, right? So now let's go to the key features of Marxism, which is number one, the bourgeoisie, the owner of resources, exploit the proletariats who work on resources. So bourgeoisie are is the rich class, is the opulent minority I'm talking about, is the one who owns the resources, the producers, the ones who have the ownership of capital, which means the main investment, the money that they are actually owning, and through that money they can own different raw materials. So they are the ones who own the capital, and they are the ones who own the raw materials. Now let's realize here there are four factors of production. So enterprise is actually the one who is the bourgeoisie, who is the one who is the owner of resource, and they own the capital as well as the raw materials, the land. What they technically do not own is the labor force, the proletariat. And the whole system is then designed, structured by the owners of the resources, the bourgeoisie, to control them, because they don't own them. So they own them. They do not own the labor force. It is the labor who has this skill, who is going to work on the resources. So they are the ones who actually design the whole society in a way that abides by and that blindly follows the capitalistic norms and values, and only then they will be easily going to work for them. So it's all about controlling the labor forces because they don't own it. It's the only factor of production that the bourgeoisie don't own, and that is why they have to control it, right? The second feature of Marxism is the opulent minority controls the working class majority through surplus value. Now, this is a very important concept. Surplus value basically is the difference between what actually the laborers get for producing goods and services on the sales of those goods and services, and what the profit they take from those prices. So the difference between at what prices the goods and services are sold and what laborers or the working class is paid for producing those goods and services is actually the surplus value, and it is actually the surplus value translates into the profits. It actually translates into the marginal profits, the additional value of their business that actually makes them richer over time. And this is that profit, the surplus value, that maintains their dominance and control over the society, right? The third feature is that the capitalists use infrastructures and superstructures to maintain their control over the poor class. So first I'm going to do is I'm going to explain infrastructure, and then I'm going to explain the superstructure, then I'm going to connect them in like 2 minutes. So infrastructure is basically the economic system, the way the resources are produced, which is land, labor, capital, and enterprise. So enterprise is the one who actually makes the economic system, who actually makes the labor class to work for them. So the means of production, which is labor, which is capital, the money itself, from which machinery and capital equipment is bought, and the raw materials are owned by the capitalists, the rich class, and then they buy the services of the working class in terms of wages. So this is actually where, this is the point where actually the rich class has an advantage over the working class, because the social relations of production between the working class and the owners of the resources it is not actually equal, and this inequality is borne by two things. Number one, it's the owners of the resources, it's the enterprise, it's the bourgeoisie who is going to decide the wage rate, number one. And number two is they also control the organizational structure of the production system, right? So these two things give the owners, the bourgeoisie, the advantage over the working class, and this is how they create the infrastructure or the economic system itself, right, in their favor. And then you need to understand this. You need to really think about this. If every person, every individual knows about this. See, Communist Manifesto was published in 1848, and Das Kapital was published in 1867, as I've written on the board for you as well. These are the basically two major contributions of Karl Marx. But let's get back to the point. My question is to you all, if we all know since 1848, we know that capitalists are the ones who exploit the working class, the employees, the laborer, then why we keep on working for them? is because they not only control or shape the infrastructure for their benefits, rather they also control the superstructures, the ideological state apparatus, making things where the things are being normalized, where the things are being accepted because they are the norms of the society, and they're the values, they're the customs, they are the things that we accept the way they are, right? And the superstructures are actually controlled through social institutions. These institutions are the ones who are actually the go-to institutions for us, the ones for individuals who are actually going to listen to them. Whenever a child is born in a society, whenever they have a problem about or about any social phenomena, or they ask about their belief or anything, what are whom they are going to ask? They are going to ask the family, and the family is the one who is mostly going to tell them that if you are best, if you're doing good, if you're doing great, if you are the one who is producing more, if you are the one who's getting more marks in the exams, if you are the one who is producing more and more than own, this is the only way that you can have social mobility. In the same course of manner, if you see the institution of education, the very concept of meritocracy is not only incepted into the minds of the individuals, rather it is also made sure to be practiced by the individuals a plethora of times until it becomes the way of their lives. And this is how the education institutions, the family, the media, the religion, they all actually work in order to connect the individual to the industry, to the larger society. And when we say larger society, when you're productive, when you're useful, when you are doing work for someone, when you're doing work for the bourgeoisie. This is actually set by the bourgeoisie themselves. This is all a play. It's a very grand play which is being very carefully designed using infrastructures, the economic system, and then the superstructure, which is the ideological state apparatus, which is actually the I would say, as the sociology book refers, the false class consciousness, that only hard work, only if you abide by the rules of the game, only the rules of the set by the society, only if you work hard, only if you give the best, only if you work till your last atom, only then you will be rewarded, only then you will have a social mobility, regardless of which class you belong. It's a false class consciousness which is incepted by the superstructures, the social institutions. Lastly, obviously we have understood all about Marxism, its key features, capitalism, the bourgeoisie, the proletariats. This theory suggests that society is a class conflict mechanism controlled by the bourgeoisie, and it exploits the proletariats. It's one way of seeing the society, like functionalism, like feminism, and obviously different perspectives, different viewpoints can be criticized. That's the I would say that's the beauty of the disciplines in social sciences, that they have this room for criticism, and this theory is also criticized by different sociologists, by different, I would say, economists and political scientists. But in sociology, majorly, it has two criticisms. Number one, as functionalists wrong sees this concept or this perception of society as also over deterministic. It's not. It's an oversimplification of a society. It's just one way of seeing the things. And second criticism is working class is perceived as cultural zombies. In this whole system of Marxist ideology, we have seen working class, we have We have seen working class as very naive, as very impressionable, as one who is just spoon-fed, who will do whatever you say, whatever you tell them to do. It's not actually the case. Humans, individuals, have their own minds. They have their own biogrammars. They have their own social experiences. In the end, the decision lies at the hands of the individuals, right? If the most economies as of 2025, more than 80% economies in the world are market economies, capitalist economies. This means that it is actually the individuals themselves who have decided to choose the system, right? So yeah, this is one way of explaining the society or seeing the society, but it also have criticism as well, right? Well, having said that, I've completed my lecture for today, and in the next class we are going to discuss in detail and analyze all the key features and the criticisms and all you need to know about the feminism. Thank you so much.